Hi everyone, this is Dave, also known as Loving Them Trains. I want to welcome you back to another build series. So many of the things that I try to represent somehow on my layout are things that I grew up around and I saw as a child and that influenced me and that I marveled at that time or just took recognition of. And so here we have a building from a company called Riverleaf Models, and I have a few of his structures. They come with a lot of character. This is laser cut, and this structure is going to represent the Woolworth company, which I remember having two locations where I grew up, one in our downtown and one in our uptown. So I'm gonna try to do this building some justice. As you've seen since the beginning of this video, got a box with parts in it. This box actually came with another building which was assembled a couple of years ago. Was one of my first kits that I've ever built. And this is the second. And I believe I did start to paint some of the parts, but I stopped and haven't moved forward with it. So I'm gonna go in, of course, make sure all the parts are there, and then I will start the painting process. Okay, here are a few sections that needed to be masked off. Everything else looks good to go. So I'm going in. Okay, y'all, I'm back from the garage and painting the sections of the building. Andre of Riverleaf Models says that typically on his buildings, you should assemble the wall sections before painting. But he says because of the details of the front wall and the front panel, that's not necessary because there's so many different details that need to be applied to the front of the building. And he says you can go ahead and assemble the first or the side walls and the back wall. Well, I have some detailing I'm going to do to those, so I'm going to wait until the end when I'm able to assemble everything before I do that to those sections. So that's just typically my method, is to complete all of the details before assembling the building. And I know in some cases that it's probably better to at least get the walls together before you do that for a sense of uniformity. But what I'm going to do is, for instance, let me take the camera off of the tripod, so bear with me with the shakiness. For instance, with this Woolworth sign, of course, I need to highlight the actual FW Woolworth company and the two W's on the left and right sides. I'm probably going to do a bit of dry brushing. Okay, I am back with I will say most of the pieces painted and some basic weathering. As you can see in the distance, I've got the main sign painted. I've got the green decorative trim painted and did some dry brushing on that. And also the entryway and the windows are all painted up nice and silver. Now what I still have to do is, if you look on the right, those are the side walls and the back wall, and then in the middle is the front section. And I've added the AK concrete medium and sanded it. That's why it's got kind of the lighter or white kind of color. So of course we've got to change the look of that. So I'm going to add the wash next. And then on the front wall where you see the blue painter's tape, I have to remove that, and that entire section will be green, the same green as the trim above. So once I do that, then I'll go ahead and start inserting the windows, and then we can get this thing assembled. Before I moved on, I just wanted to kind of give you a glimpse of some of the paints. Actually, this is all of the paints that I used except for the original base colors. And most of these are deco art. There's a folk art in there as well, that chalk color, but it's slate gray, then this castle, chalk gray, antique gold, burlap, avocado, and thicket. So between those 6 bottles, that's what I use to paint all of these. All right, so I'm still in the process of inserting the windows and doors, and because this is a laser kit, I'm not having a lot of problems. A couple of areas where I needed to sand down just to get it to fit nice and flush, but other than that, this is fine. But right here, this is the entranceway to the building, and just had to do a little bit of work. So right now you see a mess here. Got the putty going, and then I'll have to go through and file that down so there's no leaks or cracks where the doorway, the entrance is. So as I'm putting the walls together on the corners, I'm sealing it with the concrete material, and then I'll sand that down to blend so you don't see the gap between the walls. Well, I couldn't help myself. Originally it was just going to be flat black and I was going to leave it alone, but I can't help myself. I decided to do a little bit of detailing. So I put these little stacks on here and some tile. I'm going to detail it up a bit. Maybe put some items that the workers would use while they were on the roof. I don't know, I guess I caught the bug as far as detailing. But let me go ahead and finish this up and plop this on the roof or on the top of the building. And I'm gonna call this project 95% done. All right, everyone, here we go with the 95% finished product. I'm sure you can see why the front wall took so much work, and they asked that you put this on last. As you can see, there's a lot of decorative detail on the front as well as the signage. Now, one thing I did outside of the kit was I added the awning and whatever those things are called that hold it up. But that was something I did on the side. That was a little project I put together. Also, the kit provides you, like I said in the last segment, it provides you with these photos that you can put inside the windows. So I have those in there for now. I don't know if later I'll detail the inside, but that could be a fun project in the future. But for now, I'm going to leave it alone. All right, so I'm going to turn the building around so you don't get dizzy, so you can see some of the other sides of the building. And here is the right side of the building, which will probably be up against another one, but I still decided to go ahead and add a few posters, and of course this electric meter. I will have a wire coming off of this once I start installing my electrical utility poles and things like that in the layout, which will come much later when the layout is closer to 95%. But pictures may catch all of this stuff, who knows? So this is the right side. Here is the left side of the building where I put one large decal here and weathered it up a bit. Webster cigars. I don't know if they ever had anything to do with Woolworth, probably not, but the style fit, and I needed something to cover this side up. This side will actually be the closest to the edge, where down in the valley the railroad tracks will be. So this will pretty much be the first part of the building you see when you enter the train room. Last but not least, here's the finished roof. For now, got a few things laying up here. Don't know if they'll stay. Those are not glued down. I may add a few things later as I get inspired, but I think for now it's okay, and I'm happy where it's at. Also, to come later will be lighting when I get it on the layout. So there's a few more things to do with it, but for now, I'm just gonna call this almost done. Okay, YouTube, that's gonna about do it for this build episode. I hope that you found this video to be helpful, entertaining, and it's enough to get you to come back. This was a fun project, and I have a lot of structures that I still need to build on the layout, so stay tuned for those. Also, if you haven't already done so, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and press that notification button so that you can get updates when I upload more of these build episodes, as well as other things concerning the layout. I'm also pretty sure that I'll have another layout update where you'll see this installed on the layout. But for now, this has been Dave, also known as Loving Them Trains. And until next time, later, y'all.